Hey, it's Mr. Johns, and it occurred to me that I needed to come up with a top 10 list of things that make you an exceptional driver. In driver's ed, we tend to, among driver's ed teachers, we tend to kind of joke that we could teach anybody to drive. We could teach a monkey to drive, we've said before. Just meaning that the steering and the starting and stopping, not very difficult. Literally a steering wheel, left, right, and a gas pedal and brake up and down. Super simple. Unfortunately, there's more to it than that, and so it takes a lot of mental uh, practice and focus. So to be a good driver. So when we say we could teach anybody to drive, that just means we could probably teach a monkey to steer, stop, and start. And there's probably some YouTube videos out there already about that. But if you want to be an exceptional driver, because everybody thinks that they are an exceptional driver, but they're not. Most are not. So I came up with my top 10 list of things that make you an exceptional driver, makes you safer, makes you stand out in the crowd, makes you really a good driver. So in addition to understanding the laws, the rules, knowing how to control a vehicle, so here's my top 10. Number one, you take your corners at 15 miles per hour. Now that's a very specific thing to Mr. Johns, not taught in other driver's ed classes perhaps, but in my 25 plus years of teaching driver's ed, we've taken corners at all kinds of speeds, as well as my 40 years of driving, and I've taken corners at all kinds of speeds as well. And coasting the corner at 15 tends to be the most comfortable and keeps the car under control. So 15 mile an hour corners. Number two, you always signal. Whether you are in a parking lot of the mall at 1 in the morning and there's no other car present, you still signal, right? The law says you have to signal when there's a choice of direction. And so it doesn't say only if people are watching. So there's another example of exceptional driving. Always signal when you need to, when you must legally. Number three, always keep your speed under control. Now that's legally under control. So you always keep your speed under control, both legally and safely. Okay. Number four, you adjust your speed to different driving conditions. So an exceptional driver will understand rain, fog, snow, wind, black ice, sandy roads, whatever. That type of driver will understand that you cannot always drive the speed limit. So you have to constantly adjust. So, and that's what driving is all about, is adjusting to different road conditions, situations, traffic, pedestrians, etc. So number four was adjusting your speed to different conditions. And that takes, sometimes it takes practice, takes years of experience to understand that, and it also takes a mature attitude. Number five, courteous. Be a courteous driver. So we're talking about the right of way. So if someone has the right of way, give them the right of way, right? So be courteous. Always allow people, if they're trying to change lanes in front of you, perfectly fine, to back off a little bit, maybe wave them in. Be a courteous and polite driver. Number six, never use your phone while driving. Now that is a law in Idaho. In Idaho now. So obviously, this would make you a legal driver, but fighting the temptation to search for songs, to check your Facebook posts, to post an Instagram, to send out a tweet, whatever, it's not legal whether you're stopped or not in a car. If you're the driver and you're in the driving seat, then it is against the law. So never use your phone while driving. Number seven, reduce distractions. So similar category, but reduce distractions. And so that can be a variety of things: food, drink, friends, noise, whatever. it could be, but you reduce those distractions while you're driving. So while you drive, you are driving. Not everybody is able to do that, and that's why it's another thing that makes you an exceptional driver. If you drive, when you're driving, you drive. All right, number 8. You don't drive differently if you have friends in the car. You don't drive differently if you have friends in the car. You drive the same. So if you always drive the speed limit, you always drive comfortably, you're an exceptional driver because you follow these things and others. You do that whether there are friends in the car or not. Peer pressure. Can you stand up to peer pressure and still be an exceptional driver? Number 9, you always accelerate and brake smoothly. In driver's ed, I used to have a cup of coffee and I put it on the dashboard. This is a very stereotypical driver's ed thing to do, but I would do it and say, I want you to come to a stop at this next light. I'm going to put my coffee cup on the dashboard. Now, if you brake too abruptly, the coffee is going to spill, and it's either going to go on my lap, which is not going to make me happy, or it's going to spill onto the dashboard, down into the vents, which will probably never come out. And every time you turn on the heater or air conditioning, it's going to smell like a Starbucks mocha, which may be not a bad thing, but not for everybody. So, and that was a challenge, but you don't have to actually do the coffee thing. You could just challenge yourself. If there was coffee on the dashboard, would that have been a smooth stop or start? It's the same thing, accelerating or stopping. Number 10, you know how to and do maintain a safe and clean vehicle. That you know how to take care of a vehicle. That may not sound like it's a driving thing, but part of driving is driving a vehicle that is safe and clean. So you know that your blinkers are working, your brakes work, you clean your windshield off, you maintain clean interior, so things, if you did get in a crash or had to stop abruptly, things wouldn't fly around and hit people in the head, which can cause fatalities, by the way. So it's all part of it. You know what your tire pressures are. You've got oil and gas and windshield wiper fluid and antifreeze. Even if you take it to Jiffy Lube, that's part of maintaining. That's part of taking care of a car, but some of it you have to do yourself. So those are my top 10 things that make you an exceptional driver. So once you finish driver's ed and do your 6 hours of driving lessons, then practice these 10 things during your 50 hours of supervised driving. And of course, practice these forever. So you'll always be an exceptional driver. That's my goal for teaching this class, of course. I want you to not only be a driver, I want you to be one of the best drivers around. So people will say, hey, where'd you take driver's ed? Well, from this guy who teaches it online. He was always talking about these top 10 things, ways to be an exceptional driver. So that's important to me, and I hope it's important to you. So take me up on that challenge, please. And if I see you on the road, I hope you're practicing these 10 things. Be safe, stay alive. Mr. Johns out.